Howdy, pals. Welcome back to the Pullbox Pals. I am one of your hosts, Mad, and as always, well, mostly always, I am joined with my pal, Monk.
It's me, Monk. I mean, yeah, I think it's a lot of fun that we have people who want to come on here and are willing to come on here and chat comics with us, you know?
We've had some good people sub in every once in a while, and very appreciative of them. So
yeah. Wow, that was a sentimental way to begin this one.
Yeah, but it's always good to be on here with my pal Monk and chatting comics. You know, this started as phone calls over 2020. So
oh boy, we're getting nostalgic. Speaking of nostalgic, like I've alluded to many times in the past, when we do this live, I watch videos, or not, I don't watch videos. I listen to music on YouTube. And the video that I picked this week is a throwback to a 90s room, and it's showing a computer. I'm probably going to change it because it's very distracting, because somebody's essentially playing The Sims. Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up real quick, but I also probably can't show a YouTube video, so never mind. Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah, it's just the silliest of things. But anyways, it's starting to become spring out here, and I'm very excited about that. We've been getting less cold days, less rain, so I'm mucho appreciated to the weather gods that they're allowing us to have some nice time. How's the weather out there in good old Oregon?
The last 2 days were really nice, and I got some yard work in. I probably should have focused on the inside the house work I need to do, but it was just it was too nice out, and today's supposed to be the turn of events back to cloudy and possible rain. And so, but I had to get outside while I could.
Yeah, that's fair. You got to soak in that sun.
But you know, that sunny weather's coming for a long stay here pretty soon. So
I mean, you look pretty sunny. We're both in a brighter room. Mine will probably get darker over the course of this episode, but yours is you're pretty.
I do have a skylight right above me right here, right? And if looking out it's mostly clouds, but there's one little blue strip.
There's mostly clouds with a sun of chance of meatballs. What's that called?
Yeah.
I got distracted because Eric said something silly. The sun is overrated. That's a good one.
He's not wrong.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the reality is we spend a lot of time hiding from it, and then when we go out in it, we celebrate it. You know?
Yeah.
We're going to the park. Oh, you're going to bake in the sun in a field for a little bit? That sounds nice.
Yeah. You know, I love to be outside.
Yeah, I do too.
But and especially here in Oregon, it's you got to take the opportunity when the sun's out, because you just don't know. And,
I was walking around with my buddy the other day. I think we went out for a beer or something, and it was hot out, and I've put on some weight, and so I didn't realize I was gonna have chub rub and all that stuff, and I was just oh man, I'm gonna have a fat summer. That's what I kept saying, that I was gonna have a fat summer. So I'm not looking forward to my fat summer, but I mean, it is what it is. We've been trying to now that it's nicer, we've been taking our dogs to a lot more parks and stuff, and that's always a lot of fun. They get so stoked about that. But now my car's covered in dog hair.
Yeah, my car's covered in pollen right now. So
yeah, I had a little bit of that today too. Wow, look at us. Is this riveting content?
Oh, absolutely.
I went and saw Civil War. The
new movie with Kirsten Dunst in it.
Yeah, not the Marvel movie. I didn't see that when it was re-released to cinemas for some reason. Just kidding. That didn't happen. Yeah. But yeah, it was extremely good. I loved it. It was a lot of people are upset because it's incredibly apolitical.
Yeah.
There are hints to things, but like its point of view is more so like about the journalists, and it was just very interesting, especially because I think people fantasize about that world, but then like when the US dollar doesn't really mean anything, and like to get like a couple gallons of gas is a couple $100, it's
Yeah.
you don't realize what that does to the infrastructure of a country. And yeah, you just think it's fun, but because you play Call of Duty, like so it's cool that that's out there. I really enjoyed it. I love going to the movies. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, we take every opportunity we can to go to the. There's a place over in the next town over called the Pix, and it's
Mm,
just like it's a little family-owned movie theater. They just have one theater, and they have like full service, so like you can get like dinner and a beer and a
yeah,
glass
I mean
of wine,
that's kind of the way to go.
and
Did I ever
I
tell you?
I just love going there.
Did I ever tell you the time that I tripped out? Like not like really tripped out, but like kind of had a panic attack at Incredibles 2, The Incredibles. I think I've told this story before on this podcast. But obviously like I was high. I went into this movie theater and it was like around lunchtime. It was like a noon showing, and everyone was eating because it was one of those type of restaurants. And
Yeah,
it's not like they're not like there's not a chef back there. They're just kids putting things into microwaves or into deep fryers,
right.
and or like maybe on a grill. But like it just smelled really bad. And then like in between, like it just in silent parts, I could just hear like just the
Oh,
slop of people eating. Popcorn's the perfect thing because it like I mean it kind of gives a little bit of a crunch, but not really because it's kind of like absorbent. It's got padding. It's not abrasive like a chip.
I'm trying to remember. There's a name. There's a name for that.
For what?
Like being disturbed by the sound of people eating. It's like
Yeah, it's called being a
mesothelioma.
human. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it's not mesothelioma. That's
not no.
that's like
No,
some
it's
sort of
not that.
cancer or something. I don't think that's true. Let's get out of this territory a
Let's
little
get
bit.
out of that. Yeah, but there's a name for it, and I can't remember what it's called. But like, I'm
I
not.
think I think I was just too
I'm
high.
more. I'm more disturbed by the how loud people can be with it.
Yeah. I mean, it
So
I've never been I've never had like somebody be very loud during a movie during like the previews, and that's okay. But I feel like when I was a kid, you wouldn't talk during the previews. You would talk like in between the previews. You'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's interesting." But the movie theater that we
yeah,
go to has like 25 minutes of freaking almost almost ruined our no cursing rule. 25 minutes of trailers. And I'm like, I don't need to see this, and it sucks because like I don't want to like come on the day that you decide to only show 3 and like I come in thinking like that you're going to show. I don't need to see there. I don't want
yeah.
to I don't want to see trailers. I want to see like 2 or 3, not 6.
Well, I'm on the opposite. I love the trailers, but like
Ugh.
it's also like these days it's different because most of the trailers that you see in theaters they're already on YouTube and IMDb before you go see a new movie, so they're not new trailers. But like back in
Yeah.
the day, like that's kind of how you knew movies were coming out.
Oh, that's true. I
Is
mean,
like
people used to buy,
you would go to the movies, you'd see all the previews, and you'd be like, "Oh my gosh, Transformers is coming out! They're starting a
mm,
whole new series of Transformers movies. That's cool."
right.
Um, like yeah, now these days it's like instant. It's on Instagram, it's on YouTube, it's
You're
on
like, I already
IMDb.
watched a trailer breakdown online about this. I know all
Yeah,
the Easter eggs in it.
yeah.
So, uh,
So I still always have the urgency though to get there to see all of the trailers.
oh,
But
all right. Leave it in the comments. Are you a trailer guy before movies? Do you want a lot or a little?
yeah. Um but
Oh,
yeah, I love going to the movies. And speaking of re-releases, because you know you had to clarify Civil War and you weren't seeing a re-release in the theaters of Captain America Civil War.
hmm
They're re-releasing episode 1 of Star Wars, I think, for May 4th
And that's funny
in
because I
theaters.
was just gonna say that Star Wars Episode One was one of those movies where people went to the movie theaters just and bought a ticket just to watch the trailer.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I tried to remember what the movie was, but I can't remember. But yeah, when's that happening? For May the 4th day?
Yeah, I think it might be just like sometime this week, but it's in respect to it being May the 4th. So
Hmm.
like it's probably going into theaters on like Thursday.
Yeah, I wonder if
Um,
it's then leaving on May 4th or something like that.
yeah,
Well, that's fun. Are you gonna try to go see it?
but probably don't have the time for it, and I can watch it at home if I want to.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like like if I'm going to the movies, it's got to be for something worthwhile. Not that that's not worthwhile. That's a whole other debate. But
yeah.
the movie's just so far, so I can't again like can't
Uh,
justify just going to watch something that's on
uh,
Disney Plus. You know?
Also, it's the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace too. That's another
Okay.
reason it's being released. So
Oh boy, do I feel old. Do you remember those sodas that they had? The Pepsi sodas
yeah,
that
the
had.
Pepsi. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I think my brother still has some like on his like collection shelf.
That's pretty wild. I have
Yeah,
some probably living in my DNA because I drink so gosh darn many of them.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
so the plastic from the metal from those cans have seeped into my
yeah,
being,
I
and
melted down the cans and just put them right into my body,
yeah,
so it's flown in my bloodstream.
I tried to become a Terminator with Star Wars soda cans. But speaking of
Yeah.
Star Wars soda cans, were you able to make it to your comic book shop today?
I was, but did
Ask me
you
if
go
I was
first?
gonna be able to do it, huh? Come
Did you
on,
make
what?
it? Did
Stop
were
talking
you
over
able to
me.
do,
What? Huh?
were you able to do it? Did you do
I
it?
was. I did.
Yeah.
I did. And I got a healthy stack. The past couple of weeks, I've been getting 5, and then last week I got 4, and then this week I am up to 6. And I think
Yeah,
that we're gonna have a couple that are overlapping. So
probably.
do you want me to start? I'm gonna start with the ones that aren't overlapping. And I
Yeah,
really
do
like
that.
this. I really like this cover. Um, and it is Man's Best #2, which #1 was a lot of fun. So this should be good. But yeah, I'm pretty
Nice.
stoked on this cover. Uh what's next? Next we have Pine and Miramac. I'm kind of hoping that this is like the last issue. Uh nope, to be continued. And yeah, it's #4. There's a spooky guy with a mask on. I've been enjoying it, but like I said, I'm kind of waiting for it to wrap up. But yeah, it'll get there
Yeah,
eventually. But speaking of wrapping up, this one I do believe actually does wrap up with this, but I'm pretty sure it just leads into more things, or it's at least the end of this arc. Is Duke #5. Number
oh,
5?
nice.
Yeah. Um, and then what else do we got? And then this one, I'm pretty sure you don't have. And then the last two, I think you may. This is Feral #2, comic that I enjoyed, issue #1 of. Um, I I can't remember. Did we uh just discover if this was 3 issues or more?
I think it was 4 issues.
4? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. Well, either way, I mean, if it's good, I'll stay on it. But yeah, I just need something short, man. I feel like everything I'm reading is just long. Thank God for the little black book coming in. It's already halfway done, and it's
yeah,
fantastic.
right.
Like, yeah. So it's just like, hey, how you doing? I'm great. You're great. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. Um, and then the last two that I got, this one I'm very curious and excited about, and got it out of the novelty of it all. But it is Dick Tracy #1.
Oh yeah, yeah, I did get that one.
Do we get the
Um,
same cover?
we did.
We
Mine's
did.
somewhere in this stack.
Somewhere in this stack. That's impressive. Well, while you're looking through that stack, make sure that you grab Rare Flavors #5.
Oh
And
yeah,
this is
that's an easy one to spot.
the last one, I believe.
I believe you are correct. Let's confirm.
Look on the secret source, but yeah, I
Yeah, I
mean,
have it. I have the secret source open. So nope, there's a 6. There's a
is there
6 coming
really?
out.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that's so sad. Not that I like want this to be over, but boy, I just really enjoy it, and so, I don't know. Again, it just goes back to like everything I've been reading lately. It just feels so long, but
Yeah. Um,
that's on me.
yeah, and I also just think we both have been consuming quite a bit of comics in the last few months, like just various different stories. And so like for me, I sometimes kind of like it feels like the last Rare Flavors came out. Oh, it did come out 2 months ago. Good grief. Yeah, Rare
See,
Flavors #4 came out in February. I
see,
was
I
thinking
wouldn't
it
even
came out
know if
last month.
yeah, I would have said it came out last month. This year is
Yeah.
flying for me, but I mean that's a whole other story.
Yeah, it's going at a medium pace so far for me. So
No, yeah, mine's flying. So you can. I don't know if you want to meet somewhere in the middle. That'd be kind of nice. Or do you want to
Yeah.
speed things up? Your kids are
I
growing up.
do want to
Slow
speed
things
things
down.
like
Okay.
I do want to speed things up a little bit in some regards, but I also my wife and I were just talking about how quickly like the kids grow up because like my son's 12 now and it
Yeah.
still feels like yesterday that he was 8.
Yeah. And it wasn't.
And
He
it
was
wasn't
12.
yesterday. It was 4 years ago that he was 8
Yeah.
so yeah, time's just flying and apparently I'm still stuck in like the pandemic COVID times. So
I mean, I think that kind of gave a little whirl on time that we don't understand. But
yeah.
yeah, that's all I got for this week. Pretty excited about all those. How about yourself?
Cool.
Let's see this pile that you had to like go through 17 hours of me pulling for you to find that one comic.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got 9 again this week. It's
9
back-to-back 9s.
back-to-back 9s.
And I think next week it dips down a little bit,
It's
but
like
I
walking
got
down the pier. Hey-oh, get it? 'Cause
hey.
pretty girls. I meant to say boardwalk.
So I got 2 from Distillery.
Okay.
This is issue number 2
17. Oh, okay.
of Blasphemous.
Blasphemous. That's no good.
So something I really like about this, I was talking with one of the comic shop people today about like Distillery, and I'm still trying to get a feel on, am I a
Your
fan of
vibe.
Distillery or am I not? Because Distillery is like a creator owned like publisher, and so the people whose names are on the comic, like they own the comic as far as I understand, and like the distributor has some stake in it, I'm sure,
Mm,
or the publisher does. And it really is like focused on like, I think an artist and a writer who wanted to work together and maybe haven't or have worked together in the past. And so the art in all of the Distilleries I've gotten is like really, really good. I just don't know if I've been a fan of all the stories.
mm,
I did like Blasphemous issue 1, but it also wasn't necessarily like my favorite thing that I read that
sure.
week.
And
So,
your
and
shop's
there's
pulling that?
I asked them to pull it
Okay.
for me. So,
Nice.
but yeah, these are they're big ones too. Distillery puts out big boys.
Interesting.
So, the other one I got is an issue number 1, and this is written by James Tinian the fourth, which is why I hopped on it.
Oh.
It is Spectrograph.
Oh, I missed
Oh,
that. Oh,
yeah,
yeah, it's from a distillery. That's why.
yeah. So, I'm pretty sure like Distillery probably have to ask your shop to pull those for you.
Yeah.
And then let's see what we got next. We got issue 4 of American Psycho. Really been digging just the way that they're telling this story through the eyes of kind of a peeping Tom, essentially.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank God my name's not Tom. Anyways, keep
yeah.
rolling.
And then I got issue number 5, which I believe this is the
Not that there's
last
anything
issue.
wrong with the name Tom. I just realized we have a friend named Tom, but there's not. I don't know. I have family I don't want to be named after. But I shouldn't say that either. He's a great guy. Never mind. I'm gonna get out of this hole. Tom's a great name.
I didn't get 9. I got 11 this week. Ministry of Compliance, issue number 5. I believe this is the end of this arc. I can check that later. We got Gods number 7, something that I've recently finally gotten into, and I've really been digging it. It follows a character of Marvel that hasn't been around for super long, so it's really fun getting to know like a new Marvel character.
Now, is that still the first arc?
I mean, it's issue 7. I haven't finished what could theoretically be the first arc, but I'm assuming like they're probably sticking to the status quo of doing 5 and then 5.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I haven't looked into it too much. And I got Spider-Punk Arms Race number 3. I've read the first issue. Still got to get to the second one, and it's probably that one. I got a thick boy here, a special oversized anniversary issue celebrating 60 years without fear. Issue number 8 of Daredevil.
Wow. Let me see it from the side. How thick's that bad boy?
I don't know if it does it justice.
No, probably not. But yeah, I can tell that it's thicker.
My mouse died.
Oh, that's no good.
So I can't click on things. Let me see here, because the secret source will tell me how many pages it is. It's
I mean, I'm not too invested.
88 pages.
That's a hefty amount of pages.
Yeah, issue 9 of Penguin. Really enjoying Penguin. It's Tom King, and he's a great Batman writer, and I'm really enjoying what he's doing with Penguin. Something I believe you dropped off of. I got Six Fingers #3.
Yep. I did.
And
I
my
haven't even
last
tried to go back to it. I'm sorry, everybody. I know I let you down.
the last thing I got here, and I believe that this is
But look, I have 6 fingers.
this
Look,
is
look.
there it
There's
is.
6. Wow,
He's
sorry
got
for everyone
6.
listening, but Mark can confirm that I have 6 fingers.
He's got 6 fingers right now. This is from Kevin Eastman. Issue
Okay.
#1 of Drawing Blood: The Story Behind the Stories.
Okay, so my shop I think was pushing that a bit because they stuffed this this like brochure in my bag last week, and then I saw it on the shelf, but I wasn't a big fan of that cover art. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I mostly hopped on because of the Eastman name. Um, you
That's
know,
fair.
Ninja Turtles. So yeah, I don't really honestly know what it's about. I haven't dug that deep into it yet, but yeah, I might read that one first off of this new stack that I got. So
Nice.
but yeah, that's everything. All 11 comics this
That
week.
didn't feel like 11, but good job. Proud of
Yeah.
you. So I didn't, yeah. Um guys, Pool Box started. It sure did. Thanks to our buddy Zach Mills.
Hey Zach.
Hi Zach. I didn't realize that I had completely forgot that you had gotten Blow Away, which
Yeah.
is kind of an interesting name, but it's by Zach Thompson, who did a comic that I really loved that I'm forgetting. I think Join the Future, right? Or no, I think that's a different person. I think I'm thinking of a different person. Hold on.
You might be thinking of a different person.
I think I'm thinking of a different person. You talk now while I think of a different person.
Let's see. Zach Thompson. Goodness gracious. His name does ring a bell. I just cannot think of what of. Oh wait, I know how to do this. I know things.
I'm looking it up. You could tell me what you thought of the comic.
I it set a good premise, but it was really slow for me.
Okay. I don't know if I was kind of how do I say this? Spoiler, I read this comic and another comic about an hour and a half ago. So I kind of read it a little bit quicker, but I didn't feel like it was too slow. But I guess I kind of know what you're saying.
Yeah, but I also think like that was kind of like part of it because we're talking about a woman who is isolated in some like Arctic area of the world. I don't even remember exactly where she's at.
Some sort of tundra.
Yeah, and she's trying to film some like really rare birds hatching, and so like then that's her job, and she's there by herself, and she has a radio that she communicates through back to like home base or whatever.
Yeah, she's trying to find where the nest is. So of this endangered species. So she's trying to do that and has like drones or cameras out or whatever. And you can pick up and then what happens?
Let's see. And then she spots on her camera 2 guys climbing the mountain that she's trying to find the nest on. There's
a guy and a girl. Wasn't it a guy and a girl? Or was it a guy and a guy? It doesn't matter in this day and age. It was 2 people.
Yeah. Well, because they get into fisticuffs at some point on top of the mountain, and then it seems
or what
that they're the one
appears to be fisticuffs.
Yeah, what appears because
maybe it was a weird ritual dance.
It looks like they're about to start fighting, and then the wind blows a bunch of snow in front of the camera. You don't see anything, and then it appears that they had been blown away.
Yeah, or blow away. They have been blow away.
They have been blow away. Yes, and but yeah, I don't know. For me, it was just like it wasn't like that. I didn't enjoy it. It was a very slow read for me. Probably in the terms of like I was kind of soaking it in, I guess.
Okay.
Because I didn't really know what I was getting into at this one. I knew it was a boom title, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I read it right after I read another boom title that I will talk about in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
um, which was a lot more fast paced.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I wouldn't say that like reading this other one first like ruined the Blow Away for me, but it just, I think going from something that had a lot of like, uh, just yeah, just being faster paced and then going to something that was a bit slower.
Yeah. Kind of breakneck turn a little
Yeah,
bit. Yeah.
but I did enjoy it. I just like I have a feeling that issue 2 is going to be like really really good
Yeah.
because
I
a lot of times when I don't really enjoy an issue 1 that much, like
mm,
the issue 2 is something that'll like hook me back in. Like we saw this happen with Sacrificers.
yeah.
There was something else like
The
way
Madness?
way back.
No.
Yeah, no, it might have been the Madness.
It might have been the Madness. I what I was reading through this and like I wasn't like super like captivated by it, but it was nice to see like uh I feel like the narrative structure was the kind that I really like, where it's like we pop in on the person through context, you figure out what they're doing, and then by the end of it, the situation is set up and going. And that's
Hmm.
my favorite structure for first issue. And I realized going through that that's what was going to happen. And so I was enjoying that. Um, but yeah, I just again really love the premise of like, this person looking for this rare bird, trying to photograph that, and then finding this other thing along the way. And yeah, so it's just for me, it was rather intriguing. I see. I kind of feel like issue number 2 might be where I drop off because it's not
Yeah.
something that like was the most impactful, but I enjoyed it and I liked it and I can like salute it. But we'll see if I decide to, you know, commit to it long time.
I found what else I've read from Zach Thompson.
Was it the Batman, the Brave and the Bold?
No, because I'm not. I unchecked DC and Marvel comics from this list,
Mm.
and it's something that I pushed myself through.
Was it Hunt for the Skinwalkers?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. I think I just saw that because I'm looking at the list, probably the same list you're looking at.
yeah,
But yeah, I haven't. I was thinking of somebody else. Um, but yeah, I mean, good stuff. Oh, I get like
and again too, like Hunt for Skinwalkers wasn't bad. It was just like really really wordy, and
this
it kind
wasn't
of
bad.
like I couldn't fully like get into the whole story because I was reading so many speech bubbles.
Yeah, I
Um,
would say this is not that though. This is pretty
yeah,
condensed.
this is pretty opposite
Yeah.
of that. So,
Which again makes
but
me wonder, like, not wonder, but makes me just because I mean, well, you probably spend more time appreciating the art and stuff. And I was kind of just trying to get through this pretty quick. But yeah,
Mhm.
overall, I really enjoyed it. I'll definitely be picking up issue number 2. So
Yeah, no, and like the art and Blow Away is phenomenal.
yeah, it is
It's
pretty good.
good
I
comics.
went for you went to phenomenal to me being pretty good. But yeah, no, it's great. I really enjoy it. A lot of fun.
I'm not. I
Um,
don't think I'm familiar. Oh, I have two things from the artist Nicola Izzo.
mm,
What else do I have?
only
My
you
list
know.
status.
Only you know the answer to your riddle.
Oh, Liquid Kill. And I like that's so Liquid Kill is actually something I read last year, and that was my favorite thing of Liquid Kill was the art. So I'm blown away by Blow Away art because it was Liquid Kill art.
Nice.
Liquid Kill Blow Away.
You got liquid killed by the blow away art. Wow.
Exactly. So
Alrighty. Well,
uh
what else did you get into this week, my friend?
so the other Boom comic that I read this week was the Displaced, issue
Nice.
number 3. I'm really been digging this series, and this one is probably my banger
Banger
of
of
the
the
week.
week.
Yes,
Banger
nailed
of the
it.
week.
um,
Wow. You
yeah,
did it.
this story has just been like really fun, like really intense. Uh, the artist does a really good job of just displaying the emotion the characters are going through. The way that it's written, like essentially it's a group of people who were from a certain town, and that town got swallowed up, and now nobody knows who these survivors of the town, because they were on the outskirts. Like the main character, who issue one opens up with like her and her husband arguing about who's going to go to the store to get diapers because their daughter pooped during the night and she's an infant, and
she can't go to the store because she's an infant.
yeah, and she can't go to the store, and the dad's like, oh, I forgot to do it, so I'll go. And she's like, no, I've been with her all day, I've dealt with her fussing all day, like I'm going out and I'm going to go do it. And so she goes to like, you know, the 7-Eleven that's just on the other side of town, like crossing the border into the next town. And that's when the incident happens. And there was this older man there that was trying to warn everybody that something was about to happen. Obviously he failed. And sorry, one second.
Classic prophet. They always.
My daughter
fail.
just came in and gave me a thumbs up on something I told her to give me a thumbs up on if it happens. So,
well,
but
congratulations, you're the president now. We did it, Joe. Anyways, keep going.
And so like this older man's trying to explain to this group that's known as the Displaced, hence the title. Like, yeah, nobody's ever going to know who you are. Like your forms of ID, like they're not valid. So even if you have them, like they won't go through scanners or anything like that. And so they're left with nothing. And so this issue starts off with they all like one of the people in this group owned a cabin, or like their aunt and uncle had a cabin like on the outskirts of their town that's now missing. And so that's where they went to go stay. And so the older man's trying to like mentor him, but he's obviously having some like health problems, which appear to be Alzheimer's. But it really just in this issue, it showed that like his time was up as like the survivor of survivors, because he had been in multiple towns that it had happened to. And also, if you are not grouped together with the rest of your displaced group, if you go off by yourself, you kind of just vaporize and like disappear.
Oh my.
And so this had happened to this older guy a few times, and his time finally came, and he disappeared. And one of the characters in the first issue was talking about like his dad, who was going through Alzheimer's and like having to go take care of him, and doesn't know what happened to his dad, obviously. And he was really trying to like learn from him. And the older gentleman told this guy, like, no, you're the next one of me. Like, make sure you keep us all of them together and try and keep things peaceful. And in the meantime, they're all trying to figure out how to survive and get food and how to get money. And so like the main gal, she goes to like the food, where you go to get boxes of food if you can't like afford groceries normally.
Like a shelter?
A shelter, yeah, like a food shelter.
Food shelter. Yep.
And because like they know that they won't be remembered, she just keeps going in and like getting another box. And that's how she's doing it. But this other guy who's like married to the person whose aunt and uncle have this cabin, his idea is like, oh, I'm just going to go rob places because they're not going to remember me anyway. And
he's going to be the bad guy.
And so there's all this like argument going on between them of like, no, this isn't the way that we're supposed to do it. And he's like, well, this is my cabin and you guys wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me and my wife. And then the aunt and uncle show up at the end of the issue, and that's when the old man disappears. And so there's like a lot of like tension going on at the end of this issue. It just made me really excited for like what's next. Like the storytelling is just so fluid that I don't know. I don't think you can miss a beat if you're reading The Displaced. It's just really, I'm really enjoying it.
That was a good wrap up there. Good job.
Yeah, I did my best. You know, I just gave it the old college try.
And you know what else I feel like is giving the old college try?
What's that?
Moon Man #2.
Ooh, baby.
Did you enjoy this?
I did.
I will say
I
Go ahead.
No, you go. No, you go.
I enjoyed it, but I don't think you could. I don't, gun to my head, I don't think I could tell you what happened. And I could tell you
Yeah.
like scenes or things, but like narratively, I don't think much happens other than he's like, okay, I'm gonna start having my like training montage towards the end.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm kind of jumping the gun on this. So Moon Man is about a guy who was a part of a crew of astronauts that went to the moon, and on the way there, they got in what NASA is calling like
Cosmic
cosmic
turbulence or
turbulence.
something.
Yeah, and they disappeared for 7 seconds or minutes.
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 Yeah.
And they came back to Earth. They were like living in a, how do you say that? Like they were in quarantine, like taken away from everybody, sequestered off to their own little world. And yeah, and it's revealed that the one guy has superpowers. We don't know if the other two from the crew has superpowers, but this guy has like super strength and can run real fast and leave cool like graffiti.
Yeah. You
Like
can fall from great heights and be fine.
yeah. Yeah, so I enjoyed it like aesthetically, like just looking. Well, I enjoyed something else more aesthetically later. I'll get to that was similar, like in vein to this, but like I just felt like nothing happened narratively, you know?
Yeah. No, I would agree. So what I was gonna say is like I enjoyed issue 1 a lot more than this issue.
Yeah, same.
Um,
I won't say a
but
lot more, but at least two notches more.
yeah, like yeah, that's fair. Because yeah, like this one also just like I was a little bothered by some of the paneling because it felt like it jumped around a little too much. And like there was one page which uh you might have needed to read. I couldn't tell if you're supposed to read it all the way across from the left page to the right page, or if you're just supposed to read the left page and move to the right page. Like I couldn't
Right.
tell, and when you read it either way, like it still kind of all makes sense. And so I was the paneling, the layout of it really confused me, but I did get like the narrative that was going on. And yeah, it wasn't as, glamorous as the first issue. It would have been nice to see the ending of this one start a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Well, that's what I
Um,
kind of figured this one was going to be, was just him exploring his powers after he kind of, I don't know if he found out that he had them in the first one or if he knows. You know, we kind of don't really know much of his like inner dialogue. There's not a whole lot of, I mean, maybe there's speech bubbles. I really don't remember.
yeah. But it's also like in the meantime, part of the narrative is that like he works for essentially what is like the SpaceX of his world.
yeah.
And
Can you
so
believe I
there's
got
like
through all this text? Look at all this text.
there's a lot of text in
There's
that.
so much
that
text.
page.
Maybe that's why I don't know what's going on, because it's like you said
Yeah.
10,000 things.
But like the first like half of it is that there's a lot of talking going on. They're trying to project a better image of the company they work for to the public, because there's all this like protest going on outside, because that's what we do as humans. We like to protest the big corporations for the bad things that they do.
Classic.
And at the same time, like this unit knows like what they're doing is good for the advancement of humanity. And like the main character, he's kind of against the company that he works for, but the company he works for also pays the bills for him and his brother who lives back in Cleveland.
Right.
And so he's kind of got both like a foot in both sides of the arguments. And I'm just excited to see like where it goes from here. I really do. I've picked up a lot of like celebrity created comics over the years. And I think my favorite one so far has been Berserker with Keanu Reeves. But like Amelia Clark put one out a few years ago. Patton Oswalt's currently working on the alternates. But this one I'm really excited about because Kid Cudi's doing it.
Yeah.
And Kid Cudi is just a great rounded creator in general. Most people know him for his music, but he has other creative avenues as well that he works on. And so him getting to tell kind of his overall theme of his music through this comic, it's really cool to me. So
yeah. Yeah, good job.
And
Good job, everybody.
there's supposed to be a track that drops with each issue, but I haven't seen the track drop for this one yet.
Oh, come on, Kid Cudi, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Besides not dropping tracks.
he's probably always dropping tracks.
He's always dropping tracks.
He's just not dropping this issue's track yet,
the proper one. But you want to you read a lot more than me, so you want to do another one?
I yesterday I realized when I finished reading the last comic I read yesterday that I made it through all of my comics from last week, except for the new Star Wars ones that I got last week, because I've been playing catch up with Star Wars.
Right.
And last week I had only like gotten a little ways into this Dark Droids arc that spanned across all the Star Wars or the mainline titles anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I get into it, the more I'm like really enjoying it. Like I was getting down on it for kind of just being like, oh, they just, lifted from Ultron. But
right, yeah.
And it still is that way, but just the way that the stories are being told, and just the people that are being affected by what's going on, has been really exciting. But my favorite one that is out for it is there was a 4-issue limited series that was a part of Dark Droids that's called the D Squad, and it's like R2-D2 leading a squad of droids who have not been taken over yet. And in the first issue, and I don't know if this is true, and I haven't looked into it, but if it's the first issue that this happened, like I kind of want to have it, because it was R2 and Chopper from Rebels, like just going at it, just like in their own little coded languages, just like arguing with each other. And there's this other droid there who's like trying to mediate between them, and R2 is just like, I heard what he said, like I speak his language. He's like, I know, I'm trying to calm you guys down. It was a really fun kind of like silly aspect to all the seriousness that's going on between all the other ones. But yeah, I'm probably about halfway through the Dark Droids run, and I've really been enjoying it, and kind of made me a little sad that I dropped pulling all of them, because I'm really only getting out of the main line. I'm only getting Darth Vader.
Did you read them on Marvel Unlimited?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, because like one series I will say that I wish I hadn't dropped off of, because it was my favorite one outside of the Darth Vader series, but Dr. Aphra has always been super enjoyable. So is Bounty Hunters. But
I haven't consumed anything Star Wars related since Ahsoka. That's the last time I've consumed anything Star Wars. I'm pretty sure.
That's been a bit.
Yeah.
But it's also like, for me, it just stems from like it was just really hard on the old wallet to be getting all of the Star Wars.
Yeah.
And also just having to like keep up with all of it was getting a bit much. And I'd rather invest that money into some indie stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that there's things like Marvel Unlimited, but I also, like, as a collector, I'm like, should I have collected some of these? Because like Dark Droids would be a really cool TV series as well.
Yeah.
Like if it was like shot in like more of like a Game of Thrones, where there's all these different stories going on, and you're not just following like one story the whole time, but it's all leading to the same place. I think Dark Droids would be a really cool series.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. I mean, again, concept, I understand, I can see the confliction with it with Ultron, but I mean, you can only do so much. It's kind of just a premise,
Yeah.
Super angry AI takes over computers,
Yeah. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do this now, because one of the writers of Star Wars right now is Charles Soule. And Monk here got to meet one of my best friends because my birthday was last week.
Happy birthday last week.
So one of my best friends through Instagram, I assume, met one of my other best friends, and they collaborated on a gift, which you didn't actually, you just suggested.
Yeah.
You're a big part on what to get me, which
I did.
Awesome.
I did the bare minimum on this gift.
It's not
from me. I was involved.
Yes, there we go. That's a good way to put it. But my good friend Sarah got me Charles Soule's 8 Billion Genies, like the full collection of it, and it is signed by Charles Soule himself, saying, "May all your wishes come true." So,
and you didn't know it was signed until about 45 minutes ago.
yeah, because when I first opened it, like when I first got it, like when I opened it, it went straight to this page, and I
Gotcha.
didn't even like turn back to see what was behind that. So, yeah, that was really cool to find out.
I kind of
So.
like. I wish we would have been on the air when you've discovered that. That would have been a lot of fun. But it was fun for me just to be like, well, maybe that's my contribution to the gift to tell you that it's worth a lot more than you thought. But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I hope you had a good birthday, buddy.
I did. It was a great day. Went bowling.
Yeah, you love your bowling
I love bowling.
for soup.
Yeah.
But
So,
speaking of Stacy's mom, or was that Fountain of Wayne? Anyways,
I don't know.
what other comics you read? Because I mean, I've got 2 more I want to talk about, and I feel like how many more do you want to talk about?
Oh, let's see. Let's see. Animal Pounds. I was the last comic I read yesterday, and I'm starting to get why Eric dropped off of it.
Oh,
Because
is it
yeah,
rough?
it's pretty rough. But it's also like, I mean, it's this type of comic is meant to make you feel like what's going on and like try and understand the world we live in through a world created in a comic book. And it's a retelling of Animal Farm, and this issue was just all like heavy politics. And so essentially it's like there's the animals took over the pound. The animals that exist in the pound are dogs, cats, and rabbits, and they created their democratic system of election to have a leader. And they all wanted the first leader, who was Titan. He's I'm forgetting the type of dog the name of the type of dog he is.
A poodle.
A pincher.
Yeah, a German pincher. Is that what they're? Or am I just thinking of? Am I just throwing the word German in front of things? A German
Doberman pincher.
Doberman.
Yeah, there we go.
I was thinking of Dutchland.
Yeah, but like he's just seen as like a good boy among all the rest of the animals, and he has a lot of loyalty and a lot of like heart. And if I had to like, kind of compare him to another political figure, he kind of stands out as like an FDR, like in terms of like receptance from like the populace. Yeah. And he decided that he was only going to do 2 terms, and that like that's how things should be. And they all didn't want him to do that, but his really good friend is this cat named, I think, Misty. And she was the one that was put forward by the cats to be elected, and she didn't win either the first 2 terms, but she took over. She ran 2 terms, and everything was great. But then, like after that, it's just starting to become a little bit of like fallout from like good times, where now that the cats get elected, they're trying to like make things harder for the dogs, and the dogs that get elected are trying to make things harder for the cats, and the rabbits are just completely ignored in general. But like the dogs feel like they have to protect the rabbits. And then at the ending of this issue just made that whole issue like worth it, because essentially we'll just say like the star of the pound, he's the one who's been on camera making money for the pound so that the animals can get food. He gets elected, and then he goes into a hidey hole for like a few days, and then when he finally emerges, he does something that is just really bad for the whole community. And that's where it ended. So I am really liking Animal Pound, but it is just like a really heavy emotional like tearjerker. It is yes, the retelling of Animal Farm, but modernized and trying to communicate essentially the same message, but through what we have been going through modernly over the last 20 years. So
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll maybe pick that up on a trade, but we'll see. Maybe. I'm not gonna make any promises.
I think I said this too when issue 2 came out. Like I think it would be better to read and trade just to get it all out of the way. But yeah,
That's
I'm
fair.
really digging it. And again, it's also Tom King. So
Nice. Good old
yeah.
Tommy King. That's what his friends call him. And some of
Yeah.
my friends call me the Cobra Commander issue number 4. This is like finally starting to pick up for me in issue number 4. I mean, I've been enjoying it, but like now I've kind of am tracking and understanding like what's happening, because it was just kind of one of those comics that just sat in the background for me, and I just read, and just as I was reading it, I was like, oh, this is what they're up to, like just kind of remembering it every time. But now I'm like, the story is stuck in. I understand what he's like out to do. He's looking for Transformers energy, whatever that's called.
Spark Eternal? No.
No, it's like energy. It's like Enertron or something like
I
that.
think Spark Eternal is actually from Star Wars.
No, Spark Eternal is from this, I think. I don't know. Anyways, it's fun. I'm loving like the whole Transformers, even though I haven't read the latest issues, which is the first issue of the second arc. I haven't read that yet, but I just got Duke today, and so loving all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't really have much to say, but I feel like it was every time one of these comes up, we talk about the whole thing. But if you're reading the whole thing, you should be reading the whole thing. Just like our
Yeah.
friend Tom, who has a great name. He read Mythologies and or he pooled rather Mythologies and Apocrypha #1 by Tim Lane. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
From Fantagraphics and Duke, I think. But yeah, Mythologies and Apocrypha sounds fantastic. Maybe send me a link on that one.
Yeah, I'm interested in that as well.
Well, do you got any more you want to do a quick little spotlight for?
Yeah, so the other thing is I read The Agents this week. It was issue 5, so it was the end of this arc, but they also made it seem like it was the end, but it all because it ends with the end, like not the end with a question mark or like there's
Mm-hmm.
more to come or anything. So like I'm wondering if there's going to be more of it. I would like there to be more of it because I feel like they really just started
Mm-hmm.
developing the characters in the last couple of issues, like where you start to feel like you're getting to know them. And
Right.
now it just feels like, oh, it just got shuttered up. And
Yeah.
so I'd like to see more from it because I did really enjoy it, but it just seems like there's a lot more to tell. So I'm hopeful that there's more to come for that. You and I continues to be good. Probably
We
wasn't
are
my
good.
favorite issue out of all of them so
Okay.
far, but that was
I feel
issue
like you said
3,
that
I
about the
believe.
last one too.
Yeah, issue 1 was really good, and like they're not bad. Like I don't mean to say like issue 1 is just so great and these other two suck. They're just issue 1 really gripped me. I'll just put
Mm.
it that way. And issues 2 and 3 uh, are still like really they're still on par with issue 1, but I think since the gripping has already been done,
Mm-hmm.
they just don't stand out as good to me.
Right.
And then Almost Dead, I really had to think about what issue 1 was. Didn't you read it? Did you read issue 1?
I believe so, but I couldn't tell you what it was
Yeah,
about.
I really had to like because it had been a while since issue 1 had come out, and this was issue 2, and so it took me a bit to put the story back together, but I liked it.
There you
So
go.
yeah,
There you go. All right. Well, the last thing that I just want to shout out is 7174 AD. I can't tell you if this was one story or 3 stories. I can't tell you what happened in any of those stories. It's all just very abstract and absurd, but the art is like absolutely beautiful. So if you're just looking for something to just really turn your brain off and just get sucked into like something that's much more feeling than it is like trying to relay anything, like verbally relay something, yeah, I would read it. But again, I couldn't tell you for the life of me what these stories were like truly about. Um, yeah, but yeah, I mean, maybe that's just me. But again, like some things are just like too abstract, even for
yeah,
like their own good. But I'm not saying that's necessarily what was happening here. But yeah, definitely not the easiest thing to follow.
yeah,
But I also didn't think that that's necessarily like what this comic was like setting out to do. I think it was more of like an experience. But you kind of need to be able to latch on to the dialogue.
okay. Well then, Well, because is there more of that coming out, or was that like a one shot?
I have no idea. I just got it because the art looked good, and I was kind of hoping that I'd be able to figure it out, but it's not looking that way.
Okay.
But anyways, um, yeah. Anything else you wanna say, or
No,
any? You got them all.
I think I covered all of them.
Jeez, you're so impressive. And shout out to all of our friends with me just reading like 4 or 5 or 6 comics a week, and then you reading 11 or 12, or probably more than that if you caught up on Star Wars as well. Ay caramba.
Yeah, I mean, well, one thing my wife and I do is that we'll play Yahtzee and read.
Okay.
Like we'll put an album on and play Yahtzee, and then we'll read our respective readings. And
How do you play Yahtzee while you're reading?
well, you take turns in Yahtzee.
Yeah, but it like 2 seconds.
It depends.
Okay. If it works for you, I think
yeah.
that sounds like a fun time.
Yeah. So we
me and my partner spent a lot of time playing video games next to each other on different she has a little desk and I have the TV. It's fun.
Nice.
Yep. So isn't it fun to be doing things with your partner?
Yeah, but yeah, I was pretty intent on getting some reading done this week. And
I was the exact opposite. I was very lackadaisical, but I did get 4, so I'll take it. I do a yawn. Oh, but that means it's time to wrap things up. But
yeah,
before we do that, we've kind of got some somber news here at the pullboxpals. We've been doing this for a while now and enjoying it, but unfortunately now with the summer kind of kicking up and stuff going on in me and Mark's personal life of just with work and with my band and just all this kind of stuff, we decided that we are going to put the podcast on a hiatus, indefinite hiatus. We're not sure when we're going to be coming back to it, but we would like to come back to it. But right now it's just kind of eating up a lot of time and energy that would be more beneficial for us if we were using it elsewhere. And obviously that really sucks, and it's whatever. It's not whatever, but it's hard to walk away from something like this when you've made a lot of good friends and you enjoy the ritual of it and all. But especially for you having a family with 2 kids and me not having anywhere near as much responsibility, it's a lot, especially, and again, buying 11 comics every week, that's a lot too.
Yeah. No, I assume that my weekly number will go down.
Yeah, I feel like mine might stay the same. We'll see.
Because ideally, I think I've said this several times, like 4 to 6 comics a week is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So like the ideal number is really about 5. And I don't know, like I have like over the time of this podcast put a lot of pressure on myself to like read, and at times I've read a lot in a short amount of time, and at times I've read very little in a long amount of time. So but yeah, we'll see. And like I'm still gonna be trying to do posts on Instagram, so don't unfollow us on Pullbox Pals or Mad Nerdy or at That Monk Guy. There you go. That's where you can follow us. We'll still be active. Monk and I are still going to be chatting more behind the scenes, but probably not as frequent. But and we'll see how we can get back here someday.
That was a sad. We'll be talking hopefully just as much. Obviously not like this, but like still being in touch.
That's what I meant. Is like we're not going to be here once a week doing this.
No, I gotcha. We are going to be doing one more episode though. Next Saturday is Free Comic Book Day, and it's also May the 4th. And so we kind of felt like it would be I don't know, poetic or just right to either we're going to try to do a live stream on Saturday. We might not be able to do that, so then we're going to be doing the Wednesday after, but we're not going to be doing a episode next week. Unfortunately, we're going to be either waiting for that Saturday or the following Wednesday. We'll keep you posted. So again, make sure to follow us on Instagram because that's where we'll be talking about that. And follow us there so that we can continue these conversations. I'm sure, if you're 59 minutes into this already, you probably already follow us on Instagram. So yeah, shoot us a message. We would love to talk to you and continue to have those relationships. And thank you guys so much. We'll get sappy and sentimental more on the next episode. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I couldn't agree more. I've really enjoyed this. I've enjoyed the friends that we've made through doing this, but I'll save all that sappiness for the next episode. So
it was truly the friends we made along the way. But before we get to wherever we're going, do you want to tell people where to find? I mean, I guess that we kind of already did that. Just do your spiel.
yeah,
Your spiel.
I'll do that spiel again. So yeah, follow us at pullboxpals. Pretty much on any platform. We're most active on Instagram. On Instagram, you can also find me at mad_nerdy. You can find Monk at that Monk Guy 89. We love chatting comics. We love meeting people who love to chat comics and people who are interested in comics or people who have read comics in the past and no longer do. We just love chatting comics here, there, and everywhere. So make sure to hit us up on Instagram. And if you're watching, listening, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Hey, why not?
Leave some comments, leave us a review, whatever you got to do. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. We'll be here for one last episode sometime in the future. So, well, and then more, hopefully after that. We're thinking maybe in the fall when things kind of die down. But anyways, we love you. We'll see you one more time. And as I say all the time, embrace your inner comic. We only have to think of a funny bit 2 more times, Matt. Just That's 2 more times.
And this